What's up everybody, Blackacre here, your friendly neighborhood mass guitarist on the internet. Today we're doing something a little different. I feel like I need to go more into the quad cortex stuff because I use that more and more these days. So today we're going to do a little shootout between the Seymour Duncan PowerStage 700 and the Pedal Baby 100. Now obviously I'm off camera, you can't really see me, but I am playing through my new Vox SDC 55, really cool gold top SG style guitar with P90 humbucker and single coil switching options through my quad cortex. This is the settings I have set up for my band right now, and I'm basically using the nameless plugin, but more so like I would set up a JCM 800 where it's kind of gainy and then I'm pushing it with an SD1. So nice for me, like a nice kind of meaty punk tone. I feel like these are two very popular options for the quad cortex right now for the power amps. However, the PowerStage I am selling, and I'll tell a little story about how I came to acquire it and why I'm selling it. I'm gonna run both of the power amps through my trusty orange 212 OB with vintage 30 speakers, and I'm not gonna do any fancy EQing, miking, anything like that. I feel like the modeler stuff is kind of weird for me with videos. I end up liking the room sounds more than mic'd sounds from videos I've watched, and I feel like it'll give you a kind of more raw and honest representation of what I'm hearing in here. So the Seymour Duncan PowerStage 700, the reason why I got it, at the time I was playing in a band where I needed stereo capability, and that's very cool, and it worked for that. However, I noticed live this OC LED would flash, which I learned means overcurrent. Now, I don't know if that means I assume that means it's clipping. I've read on Reddit, someone said that it means you are using the wrong load, but Seymour Duncan claims that you can use whatever ohms for your cabinets and mix and match, so I don't really know what's good with that. I just know it was very annoying. I would turn down the volume on my quad cortex, like the master volume, and then I would be at shows, I would be at like 3 o'clock on this thing, and it would still be doing the OC thing, and I'd have my quad cortex down. I came to find out that PowerStage stuff is optimized for 4 ohm cabinets, and I use 16 ohm cabinets. So that means that this thing is running, as long as I understand correctly, about 1/3 of the power it should be, which makes sense because I'd have to crank it. I've talked to other people who use PowerStages, and they've said the same thing. They feel like they have to crank it before they even, feel it at all. So that's why it's going. It's a 700 watt unit. I don't use stereo anymore. The band I play in now, I'm one of 2 guitar players, so that's where this comes in, but we'll get there. These are, industry standards for a lot of people, so who am I to say that I don't like it, but, all personal preference. All right, so now the PowerStage is on. I don't want to piss off my neighbors, so I'm going to keep it pretty low volume-wise, but with a band, I had to crank it to, cut through. I will say I like the EQ on here. You have bass, mid, and treble, which is nice. On the Pedal Baby, you just have bass and highs, but honestly, we'll get to it, but to me, this is more than enough. I also learned that this is Class D, and this is Class AB. So the Class D stuff does that. It'll fall off, the power-wise, where this one, even if you use a 16 ohm cab like I am, the lowest you're gonna go is 70 watts. So, and that's a loud 70 watts. That's the other thing. This stuff gets really confusing, so I'm hoping that maybe this helps you. So anyway, without further ado, let's get a little tone dialed in here. Okay, so all the EQ controls are at noon, and right now, like I said, I'm not trying to annoy my neighbors. I have the volume at like 9 o'clock or so. So let me just do a little chugging and show you the EQ controls. All right, let's do bass first. See, even now the OC light's coming on. And I'm at like I said, 9 o'clock. So annoying. Now, of course, we wouldn't put the bass that high, but I like it a little push. When I was using this live, I would push everything up just about that much. Let's do mids next. Let's scoop them. Okay, let's do treble. Okay, so that's about where I like it. So again, even now the OC light's coming on. If you do want a stereo rig and you're using like a 4 ohm or 8 ohm cab, you might have a different story, but for me, I just didn't like it. The feel of it too, it's not bad. And this isn't something that I can like translate over the video, unfortunately, but I'm gonna plug the pedal baby in. It feels to me a little more realistic. Just a little more like I'm getting sag from an amp. Again, obviously this is all digital, but it still sounds nice. But again, for the money and for, you know, Seymour Duncan claiming that you don't have to think about the matching and the load and everything, and it's still giving me that error, you know, call it user error, call it what you want, but it is annoying. And now that I know all this stuff and I've used the pedal baby, you know, let's get to that next and let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so now we have the pedal baby plugged in, and this is what it sounds like. All right, so this is on like 2, or is that 1? Yeah, this is like 1, and that's already like as loud as a PowerStage. In my opinion, I hear a little more presence too. I don't know, again, if this is just placebo effect. I just like the fact that the orange matches the orange. I don't know, but I just like this thing more. Just immediately, straight up the middle, like I just like this response more. I like the sound more. Again, it doesn't have stereo capability, so if you are looking for that, then this might not be your thing, but I really like this little pedal baby. Very impressed. Again, let's go through the controls. This one, we only have bass and treble, so let's do bass first. All right, and treble. I like these straight up. I just like the tone I have in the quad cortex, and I plug it in the pedal baby and I'm ready to go. I used this at a gig on Saturday and I loved it. I had it at noon and like full punk band, pretty loud. It was mic'd too, but it was even at rehearsal. I don't think I ever bumped this thing past noon. For 100 watts of solid state, I was very, very impressed that it was like taking my face off. So the power rating stuff is confusing, but I can guarantee you it is loud enough. So here's another riff. I'll play it out. Let's get the same place we did on the PowerStage. So this is at 9 o'clock. All right, never mind. That's loud as hell. I'm not trying to get a noise complaint, but I really like this thing, man. I can't translate to you over the camera the way this feels, but it just feels good. It feels like playing a tube amp, but just like out all the crappy things about tube amps. I swear we're at a point now with digital stuff where I just cannot fight it anymore. It just sounds good, it's easy to lug around, and it looks cool. Alright, so in this shootout, the Pedal Baby has won, if you had any doubts. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the Orange Pedal Baby 100. I'm not going to sit here and do, you know, say that it's the best that money can buy, but that dude over there, 8 Emsley, is probably my favorite amp designer right now, so the fact that he did this is pretty cool. It makes sense that I like it a lot. I'm also a huge fan of the Dual Terror. That was what I was using before I went all digital. So yeah, man, I mean, this is a really cool unit. If you are using modeler stuff and you're looking for something that's not going to color your tone too much, and you want something that you can throw in a backpack and lug to a gig, throw it on someone else's cab and rock with it, if it's an 8 ohm, 16 ohm, whatever cab, and not lose that power that you're looking for, then check out the Pedal Baby. Thank you to my friends at Zounds for sending this over for me to check out. Be sure to like and subscribe for more guitar content, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.